see that? Do you see that? Well, you probably can't see much. But it's called Google Expeditions. All right, it's Tuesday. I haven't done a tech tip in a very long time, and usually people put tech tips on Tuesdays. So, in the last few minutes I have of the school day, I figured I would do a tech tip. So, my tech tip is on Google Expeditions. Google Expeditions is an amazing app that you can use to complement a lot of lessons. In fact, I just recently complemented a math lesson with Google Expeditions. So, with the tour of Egypt in Google Expeditions, we had some math students investigate how to solve surface area and volume of a pyramid using Google Expeditions as kind of that jumping off point. It actually is a lesson that we have found from test.com. If you haven't seen or have gone to test.com, I encourage you to check it out. Test.com, you can search expedition lessons that that can complement pretty much anything that you're looking for. And so our lesson came from the pyramid lesson on surface area and volume in test. And what we did is the teacher and I modified it slightly. You know, she knows her students best. And it was a great, great lesson. It was already designed. But for our students, we kind of decided we were going to change it up a little bit. So just to kind of give you a little bit of what we did with that lesson is we started off with just kind of a mini lesson on the Egyptian pyramids. So we kind of we had a little video about the Egyptian pyramids, and it was a great video. It was 5 minutes long, kind of discussed the pyramids of Giza, their purposes, how they kind of evolved into the great pyramids that we know of and think of. And it kind of gave the students a really neat perspective because they could see what they look like up close. So you could see how small cars were compared or how small people were compared to the bricks. Then after that, we gave them the Google cardboards, or they can do it on their iPads. So students who have phones could do it with the Google goggles and Google cardboard goggles. And then the other students did it with the iPads, and we gave them another few times to explore and to look around, to kind of look at Egypt, to read the information cards that are in Google Expeditions, because they needed to know what the height of the Great Pyramid of Giza was, the Pyramid of Khufu, and if I'm saying that right, and then they had to know how big it was at its base, how wide it was, and then from there they had to do the calculations, and during the calculations they had to record their thought process in Flipgrid, which was really cool. The kids really do enjoy Flipgrid. I don't think it's used as much as it should. But they were able to record their thoughts on their initial findings or their thought process on how they were going to solve the surface area and the volume of the pyramid, which was really neat because you could see where there were some mistakes. A lot of the kids really at first weren't realizing that they had to actually figure out how many feet were in an acre. That was important. Something they'd never done before, but something they were able to Google and figure out. So that was really neat. And then the teacher, the next day, we broke it up into 2 days. So the next day, the teacher reviewed with them the findings that they had recorded into Flipgrid. And then they were shown the proper way to solve, and then they had to actually solve it and then record. Then they had to teach it to their neighbor. They had to teach it to a partner using Flipgrid. So two students would come together, and then they would record how to solve it. So they were teaching their partner, and each of them had to take a turn doing it. So again, my tech tip of the day really is Google Expeditions is a fantastic app to integrate into your classes, depending on what you're covering. It could be a really good kind of that jumping off point to get the kids going, to get the kids interested, to hook them, to get them excited, all that good stuff about the lesson, and then you kind of go into it. And like I said, www.tes.com is another wonderful website to go look at already pre-made lessons using Google Expeditions that, of course, modify as needed and or submit your own. I believe you can submit your own to that. So anyways, that's my Tech Tip Tuesday for Tuesday. Have a good one.